the stats are actually that 80% of businesses don't sell. So really and truly, a lot of these people who are in that position right now are not going to be able to sell their business, and it's largely because of two main things. One, they want too much money; they've overvalued their asset, their business, and then two, they themselves are too involved in the business. It's too dependent on the owner, and so largely they want too much money because they think it's worth, so that this is their blood, sweat, and tears, their life's work. And it's kind of a hard thing when you start trying to put a number on your life's work. It's a pretty emotional process, to kind of consider. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've been successful and able to be able to buy the amount of businesses I have, is just being able to speak to that reality with the seller, and really, it's not just about the numbers. It's not just about the X's and O's. I mean, there's this piece of humanity that's tied to, and very emotional process. And so a lot of the corporate guys that I talk to and do coaching with, they come in and this is just another transaction to them. Like they're a corporate guy, and so it just rubs sellers the wrong way and they don't get a deal done. And but to your question, about sellers, one, we got to be realistic about what your business is worth. And a lot of times, the people that you go to do business valuations, they're not buyers. Okay, it's one thing for me to tell you what your business is worth. It's another thing for me to write you a check. And a lot of the times, the people that are telling you what it's worth, whether that be a broker or an independent valuator, it is not real. It's really, really highly inflated. And so that's one thing. We need to recognize what the value of the business is, and those are based on a whole number of factors inside of every industry. But then the second thing is owner dependency. If you have a business that's, say, $700,000 is the value of the business, that means you're probably bringing in a buck 50, 100 to $200,000 in SDE, let's say. Well, by the time I come in as a buyer and I put money down and I get a loan and I go to service debt, if I have to retain you or anybody else, there's no money. That's not profitable. It just now the whole equation doesn't make any sense. But the seller has built the business in such a way that it depends on them, largely because that's just what they've done. And their kids are out of the house and they don't really have anything else to do, and so that keeps them busy and keeps them going. But it also is going to shoot them in the foot because nobody wants a job. I mean, nobody wants to come in and buy $100,000 job.
Not for
It's
seven
not
hundred
even gonna,
thousand dollars.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
not for
like,
700 to get 100. Like, wait, no, I don't. No, I'm
and
good.
and it's not even 100 because it's going to be
Right,
less than that after debt service. So it's like, I'm going to quit
right.
my job and go do this, and I'm going to put a large chunk of money down to work 60 hours a week to make 50 grand. Like, the
Hmm.
equation just doesn't work, man.
Yeah,
And so the sellers right now, if you're considering and thinking about doing planning and retirement, one, you need to focus on growing the business. And that's not just through cost reduction. That's
mm,
not trying to squeeze every penny out of your business, because the new buyer that comes in, like when I come in and I see that the seller has basically starved operations for the last two
right.
years to milk every penny out of it so that he can show growth on paper. Okay, next. Like, it still may be worth $700,000, but I don't want it, because I know in order for me to go from 700,000 in revenue, or just, I'm throwing out numbers, to 1.5 million, 2 million, the amount of money I'm going to have to put in, and because all these costs have been slashed, and people and so forth, it's not that you couldn't get that number, maybe now it's not the number, it's just you've eliminated your pool of buyers because of the way that you've set your business up.
Yeah.